I'm a registered Democrat. Just so you know, I vote Democrat, I vote Republican, I vote my interest. Okay. Now, the Democrat Party believe it could replace Black Americans with this broader minority coalition. Okay. Especially by leaning more heavily on the Latino voters. On paper, that strategy looks pretty darn good because Latinos, they're deep. They're growing fast. They're the minority, they're the majority minority. Now, here's some numbers. There were 36.2 million Hispanic eligible voters in 2024. That made Latinos about 14.7% of the eligible voters. And that's double since 2000. Okay? When it was seven, they were only 7.4%. They doubled. But the problem for Democrats is that the numerical growth doesn't equal its political unity. Let me explain something to you, and we've seen this. Latinos aren't one people in the same historical, cultural, or political sense like foundational Black Americans are one people. Latino and Hispanic are umbrella categories that they just throw the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and the Cubans and the Dominicans, Salvadorians, Guatemalans, Venezuelans, Colombians. They even throw the Brazilians in there in the broader Latin American sense. And here's the cold part. You got white Latinos, Black Latinos, indigenous Latinos, mestizos, recent immigrants, old stock Tejanos. You got Caribbean Latinos, Central Americans, South Americans, Catholic evangelicals, conservatives, socialists, anti-communists, Cuban, labor-oriented Mexicans, and many other distinct groups and categories and subcategories. And that is not one culture. That's the census category that white folk put them under. You might as well call them Latinx. Black people have given Democrats a sustained voting bloc because foundational Black American culture developed one shared American racial identity. That culture was forged through slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, redlining, convict leasing, segregation, state violence, the Black church, civil rights movement, the Great Migration, soul food, blues, jazz, gospel music, hip hop, HBCUs, the barbershop talk, the beauty salon talk, extended kinship, and the shared memory of American anti-Blackness. Culture is not a costume. And on top of that, it's not just food. It's not symbolic. It's not identity, just for the sake of identity. Culture is a functional survival system, a group's inherited blueprint for protection, cohesion, identity, and long-term survival. That's why Black Americans could be relied upon as a political bloc in a way Latinos never will be able to. Foundational Black Americans weren't brought together by a government label and stuck in the same room or stuck in the same category. We were fused together by a common American struggle over centuries. We are one people. And see, that's also why Black American culture is different from the various Latino cultures and also different from the multiple African and immigrant cultures. See, among foundational Black Americans, the first social question is not what nation are you from or what tribe you're from. The first question is, are you Black? But we can pretty much tell. And see, that's a survival adaptation. Are you all with me? Somebody type survival adaptation. See, in the United States, Blackness itself has been the basis of exclusion, segregation, violence, and political denial. That's why we came together. So the FBA identity developed around racial solidarity because racial solidarity was what we needed to survive. We were under attack, not because of our tribe, not because of our nation, but because of the color of our skin. FBA culture as a system, we rejected those tribal divisions that we might have brought from Africa. They threw all of us on the same boat, same plantation. So we favored racial cohesion. We gave up tribalism for brotherhood. Because in American context, a tribal fragmentation, that'd have been fatal. Now, by contrast, many Africans and Caribbean immigrants, they arrived from their various Caribbean countries and their various nations. They have a national identity, ethnic, tribal, or some island-based identity. You see, that's what they put first, not their color. That's why a Nigerian will tell you, I'm not Nigerian or I'm not Ghanaian. And when you go deeper, they'll say, I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba. That's why a Jamaican is not going to say he's Haitian, or Trinidadian, or Somalian, Ethiopian, and so on and so forth. That doesn't make them wrong for having their identities. And more importantly, it explains why their culture fails here. See, if you can be you could be as much Trinidadian or Jamaican as here in the United States as you could be in Jamaica, you will continue being a Jamaican. It's easier. If you can continue being a Ghanaian and practicing your ways and all that stuff here in the United States, you would. But it doesn't work here. Again, I'm not saying that wrong. I'm just saying that don't work in America. Their culture as is fails here. And so they're forced to tether themselves to foundational Black American culture and hide in our identity to find success. And this is why that delineation movement has received so much pushback from all these Black immigrants who never saw it coming. See, but for that purpose, or should I say for the purpose of this conversation, it also means that their political consciousness isn't automatically the same as ours. And see, this is why the Democrat Party's whole replacement theory, we're going to replace Black Americans with Black immigrants and Latinos and anybody else we can cobble together. Democrats think they can just swap Black voters out for Latino. But the recent voting data already shows that that's flawed in its assumption. Look here, man. In 2024, the Pew found that Trump came nearly even with Kamala when it came to getting Hispanic voters. He only lost by 3 percentage points. Now compare that to Democrats who Hispanic voters. Look, man. That's a warning sign to all you Democrats out there who think you could just throw Black people away. Latinos have the numbers, but they don't vote as one unified people because they're not one unified people. Cuban voters in Florida don't vote like Mexican Americans in California or Texas. Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania don't vote like Venezuelans in South Florida. Guatemalans and Colombians and Dominicans and Brazilians and Mexicans don't carry the same historical memory or racial interest or immigration politics or class interest or party loyalty. So Democrats are chasing the coalition that it look good on paper, but it doesn't exist in real life.